This is our class number 4, and the first thing we will do in this class is bring up our previous drawing, which we completed during the last class for the most part, seed1.dgn under the projects directory. So let's go ahead and open this up. This is the basis for one of our seed files, so we're going to do a file, save as. I'm going to go up a directory and go to our seeds directory, and we're going to call this one seed letter mechanical v1.dgn. Hit save. So we basically have the same drawing here. If we go back to our 8.5 by 11 view, we can see our model. Go to our default, and what we can do is just clean this out. We don't need this information in the default model, and you can see once we remove that, these dimensions became highlighted saying I'm not attached to anything anymore, so we can just delete that information, and the rest of it can just stay the way it is because we can reuse that and re-edit the text to make it work with another drawing, which we're going to do right now. We're going to take this drawing now, do a file, save settings, and then do a file, save as. We're going to go back up to our projects directory. We're going to call this one, we'll just call, instead of project seed, we'll call it project 2 DGN, and hit save. So all the settings that we had on this one, working units or in inches still, are still there, and we'll start a new drawing from this point. We're going to do a exercise now in hidden lines, which is a little bit different than what you might expect. And to do that, I'm going to minimize my MicroStation and go to my first class desktop. Under your CET 120 folder, either your section 1 or section 2, you'll find this EX28 PDF. What I want you to do is right click on that and say download. Right click and download, and I want you to put this into your CET 120 CJ, and let's create a new folder here in your main folder, and we're going to call this one Raster files. Raster files are just images, computer images from the screen. Double click on that and we'll just hit save, and that'll dump that exercise 28 PDF file. This is just a copy from the workbook right into this folder. We can close that out, and we can close out of our first class account, go back into our MicroStation, and if you look up at the top of the screen excuse me, we have our models, references, and a Raster Manager. I want you to select the Raster Manager. Anytime you don't see any of these tools in here, just right click on the menu somewhere in between. You'll see that you can turn tools on and off. So if the Raster Manager was off, for instance, like now it's gone, if I just right click here and click on this, the Raster Manager will come back. So sometimes by accident, sometimes just the type of file you have up, you may see a tool missing, so don't be afraid to right click on the menu and just add it back in. So I'm going to double click on this Raster Manager. It's kind of like a reference file. We're going to say file, attach, raster. We're going to go to our CET 120 CJ, raster files. There's our exercise 28 PDF, and you see a little piece of sample of it, preview, and we're going to say open and attach, and then do a fit view, and then what we see is that raster image on the screen. And close out this tool. Now what we have are 4 different objects here, 4 different items with orthographic projections, and there's some lines missing from each orthographic projection, and primarily what we're missing are the hidden lines. So let's start with this jig block number 1. I'm going to zoom in on this area so we can see it better. You can see things are lined up. We're looking at a top view, a front view, and a right side. My AccuDraw is currently set up in distance angle. I'm just going to hit my space bar to oops, where is it? Maybe I gotta close out of this one. There we go. XY coordinates. We're going to go up here in our levels, and let's go into the construction level. You should have a level on there called construction. If not, you can go to your level manager and create one. And I'm going to work in a some hot color that shows up well. Line weight 1. What we want to do is start tracing these edges from one side to another. And with the Smart Line tool, Q1, you're not able to snap to these raster images, so you just got to get as close as you can. And we're just going to line up these edges. We just want to see how these edges line up. And we've got some edges back here that we need to line up that don't really show on this front view. And then we'll pan over a little bit on this. We don't need our join elements on. And again, we'll do the same thing on this top piece. Let's go top and bottom. And we'll bring the outside edges up here and up here. And again, spacebar I allows me to center snap or snap to an intersection. Hit I again. So we have this 45-degree line. So now we can extend these lines across until they touch the 45-degree line. Again, it's not going to be exact, but it'll give us a rough idea what we're looking at. And we can pull this one up and up. Let's see. We'll pull this one up. This one, you can see how these cross. When they cross and meet each other, you know that these edges are lining up. So with that in mind, we're going to start looking for, and we've got an edge here that we're going to bring across. Okay. We can always add some more later if we need to. So now we're going to go to our primary lines. These are lines that are actually going to show up. I'm going to put a green line because right here on this front edge we should have a line that indicates that this is where this bends back away from us. So we'll just kind of draw that in. Again, we can't snap to a raster image, so we're just going to eyeball it. We see underneath here we have a tunnel that runs all the way underneath, so this is going to show up. A hidden line shows up as a dashed line, so you go to your line type and change it to 2. And we'll use our color red. Actually, I'll stick with green on this. So we're going to have a hidden line right here. Where this line crosses right here, we're going to see, actually I'll just do a spacebar I and just run this one right over to this edge. This indicates this tunnel underneath. So you see pull this edge all the way up to where it finds this one, come over here, and this actually falls right on the same area as that slot. Bring this one over until it touches. You can see that there's a slot in the back, so this slot is going to come down from here. It actually is only going to go to where the other hidden line is located, and then this is going to just be a slot right up here. So let's turn off our construction lines now. We can just come up here and click on this check mark, and we're going to start to see where our lines are hopefully going to start making some sense. We need our tool to extend these ends, so we're going to use our drawing, right here, modify elements, go down to extend a line. Not only does it extend the line, but it'll also let you shorten a line. So we're going to bring it back, and we're going to bring this one down till it touches the edge here. And we can actually touch those, because what you see is a slot is open in the back, it goes down, but it lines up with this tunnel across here, so that slot is going to stop right at that point. But we see the forward line here is going to actually bypass it. So what we're seeing is the tunnel, nothing in the back on this side. I believe we have all of the hidden lines in place here now. If we move over to the corner, item number 2, we'll start working on this one, and it's again the same thing. Go to our construction lines, we'll turn them on. I'll use the same fuchsia color that we used before. Drawing, smart line, and we're just going to extend these lines over. Guess we want a solid line there. Bring this line up, bring this line up, bring this edge over. Now we can do our 45, spacebar I from here, and hit I again. And now we can bring these over. We just need to bring them over until they touch that 45-degree line. This edge here where these slots are in the back. Spacebar I. Just bring it down. We can actually stop that one right there. You can see we've got these holes going through the back edge, so we're going to extend those up. Spacebar I, and we'll just run these over. Just hitting the I key. There we go. Now in this view, the corner view, we're actually looking at a top view here, a front view, and a left side. So it's actually top, flipped up in the front here, and then left side here. So we're actually going to extend these lines over because they line up. So we're just going to, we can actually extend the center line over here also, and extend the center line up here. Here, spacebar I, bring it across, spacebar I. Okay, so now I'm back. We get the primary lines. We're going to go to green. We're going to start putting these primary lines in their proper location. So we're going to see a hidden line where this hole goes through right here and right here. We're also going to see these holes here and approximately here. This is both edge of that round hole going through. We'll trim these out a little bit after we turn off the construction lines. We've got some vertical slots that go all the way down through here, and here, one here. These go all the way down through, and if we extend this line over and down, the back of those slots would actually show up right here. We can change to a center line, line style 4, and we'll just put a center line here and here and here. Let's turn off our construction lines again, and we just need to go in and kind of trim these out a little bit with our extend line tool. And again, we can't snap to these raster images, but we can get pretty close to the ends. Looks okay. Just trimming them back. So you can see what we have are these missing hidden lines and center lines to make this a fully functional orthographic projection. And we'll get down to the clevis number 3. We'll kind of zoom in on that. This time make sure I'm in the construction line. I want to turn it on. That's probably what I did, is I turned it on, but I didn't actually use it. So again, we got a top view, front view, right side, and we're just going to extend these hidden lines down so that we can find these edges. Any place we see an edge where there's an angle, we're going to throw it in here. You can see we've got the hole going through both sides here, and the hole going through both sides here. We do need to create the 45 on this because there are some lines in the background that are going to show up as hidden lines in this right side view. So spacebar I and I. We've got these two lines are already here, but we don't have these edges back here and here and this one and this one. We can actually simplify it a little bit now because I can just take go to my primary lines, change it to green, and these are going to be hidden lines style 2. I can just do a spacebar I right here and just bring it straight down through. Spacebar I. That one goes straight through. And we've got a line here. And I may seem like I'm being really sloppy on this, which I kind of am, but there's just a speed issue. It's easier to trim them up after the fact. So we can, oops, come on. I'm just drawing these little short segments in here. We're going to have a line here. This is actually going to be a visible line because it's the front edge of this, so it was missing. So that'll be a solid line. And we have a hidden line here. And I already got those in place. We can extend a center line to here and here and just run it across here. Now let's turn off those construction lines and see what we've got. Extend a line. We want to just kind of trim these out. There's our center lines. So we're just going to neaten these up a little bit by shortening them. And we'll just shorten these. You can zoom right in on these so that it's easier to trim things out later. hidden line to this edge. You can see that line looks crooked, so I'm just going to redraw that one as a straight line. There. I'm just using my wheel to kind of zoom in and out in different areas. Your position of the cursor on the screen kind of indicates what it's going to center on. So if I'm up here, it'll center on that area. And that looks good. This one, we just trim these from the 45 that they started from down to the intersection point. The top line, this is the back edge of that. Just using the same tool to extend these lines either shorter or longer to get them tied into the proper location. And we got one down here that's a little long, one here. So we just check it over. Hidden, solid, hidden, circles up on the top, circles on the side, slots on the back end. And that one's done. We wouldn't be able to tell this until we actually extend these lines out and do the construction lines. So we have one more to do now. The final object is a saddle block. I'm going to go up here to our construction lines, select color 10, and we'll just, again, we're going to extend these. Lines out until they intersect. Once you get moving on this, grab the edges of the circle. Spacebar I to get the intersection. Come up here and change to a primary green. So it's going to be hidden lines. So we'll use line style 2. Excuse me. The hole only goes through to the slots. Center line style 4. Oh, sorry. Turn off the construction lines and trim it out just like we've done previously. These lines got a little crooked, so I'm just going to straighten them out. Help if I use the right line style. You can see that slot goes all the way through. Just like that. So I think we pretty much have this one. Last, we'll put our name in. This we don't need a style. We're just going to put in 0.12 for the size. Color will be red. All caps. And we'll just say section CET 120. Put that down below, and the date is going to be 9/12/09. Now to print this one, we're going to use our fence tool, not go into the sheet file. So just click tool 2, which is our fence, place fence. Just kind of put it around the border here. We can leave some of the paper hanging out. We're going to do a Control P. We're going to attach our pen table that we created for the previous assignment. We're going to make our scale 1:1. It's already sent to print PDF. If not, you can just go to select Bentley driver, make sure it's PDF. Hit the print tool. And we're going to send this to My Documents. Under Homework, it's going to be Assignment 2. I had done this previously, so I'm just going to delete this one. And there's Assignment 2, C. Junkins PDF is what we want to call it, and we print it out. It's going to take a little bit longer because the PDF file is larger than a vector file. It's just a bigger file itself. Minimize this. We'll go to Adobe. And if you don't have Adobe, you can download the free Adobe Reader just to check your work. Go to File, Open, Homework, Assignment 2, PDF. And there it is. We can see what it looks like all together. Gives us all our hidden lines. You could add the view labels if you want, but what we're really looking for in this exercise is just putting the hidden lines where they belong on the drawing. In this particular case, I can go to Document and reduce file size, retain existing, and just say Save. It might make it a little bit smaller. You don't necessarily need to do that. Close this out. We go to our first class. Log in. We'll go to one of my folders here. Homework drop. Somebody sent me some stuff here. Homework 2 is the folder. I'd already put one in here. I'm just going to delete that. Show you how we can drag and drop it over. We'll minimize these out. Go to our Windows Explorer, or you can use My Computer. Assignment 2, and we'll just drag this and drop it. I think I've set the folders up now, so this works. My connection here at home is a little slow. I apologize for my voice. I got a bit of a head cold going on here. Hopefully it's on the downhill slide. And in a separate video, I'm going to do a review of Chapter 2 of the MicroStation workbook, so you'll see that poking up there shortly. That's all set. Come over here, there's the homework. Close that out. You can see it red flags. And that should be all set. And that should do it. Once that's turned in, that'll be the second grading assignment for the semester, and we will start something new on the next class, number 5. Thank you.